Hey guys, I'm Umbless Data and welcome to another review. This time we have The Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 12, and this episode's titled Clear. Just my thoughts overall on the episode. Thought it was really good. It was a nice change from what we got from the last couple episodes, which were slow-paced, kind of boring a little bit. This one really picked up and really got the action, and it was just really awesome. But before I get into the specifics of it, before I get really into this review, just want to let you guys know that this review will contain spoilers. If you do not want to know what happened, please go watch the episode and come back to this here video right now. So let's get into this review. So, in this whole episode, there wasn't any governor, nothing really of the prison. There was really nothing other than Rick, Michonne, and Carl. Now, in the last episode, they said they were going to go on a little mission, but they didn't really say what they were going to do. So now we kind of figure out what's happening. They're actually going and looking for weapons, because if the governor comes to the prison, they don't have a lot of ammo or anything, so they really need to stock up. So they get the idea of going back to Rick's sheriff's office in the first season and getting all the guns, because if you remember, they actually did not take all the guns, they only took a couple. So there would be tons of guns there, and that's what Rick's thinking is. So before they get there, they're in a nice little car, and they pass by a guy, and he's screaming and yelling, and he's alive, he's not a walker. You know, he's screaming, help, 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 but they just drive by, and we can see how the main characters react to this. They don't even look at him. It's almost like, whatever, you know what, he's not part of the group, don't worry about him. But in reality, if it was reversed, and let's say Rick was the one walking and screaming for help, and the guy that was walking is the one driving, really think about what would happen if they switched shoes. Rick would have been left alone. So that guy might have been a really great asset to the group, but we'll never know. And Rick doesn't really want to take the chance anymore because, well, every time he lets someone in, something happens. So basically, they're just going to disregard him. So they drive by a little place and they get stuck in the mud, and basically all these walkers come right to the car and they're all surrounding the car, and because they're stuck in the mud, they can't go anywhere. And one of the coolest scenes I think in this episode was that Rick just says, cover your ears, and he just rolls down the window a little bit, sticks his gun out, and shoots them headshot. I don't know, it was just really cool how, it was just like, they're so efficient now, and even when all the walkers came just like all on the car, they didn't even flinch. So it's like they're so used to it at this point that it's just like another day, blah blah blah, So that's basically what it's come to at this point. So then we see the guy that was running, asking for help, running again toward them since they were stopped. The guy kind of caught up with them, and he's wearing this huge backpack, and he's saying, still help, but still just leave him. So again, at the beginning of this book, you think that he's going to be important in some way because, well, he appears so often, but, well, he does make a return, but when we get to that, we'll get to that. But so Rick goes to the sheriff's office, and everything is gone completely. So someone broke in, took all of it, and they basically only find one bullet, which is like, oh, thanks. So, we can see that it was completely gone. So at this point, we don't know who took them. It could have been just someone ran by, just opened, smashed open the door. We don't know. So then they go out of the sheriff's office and they're looking around, and they're in Rick's neighborhood, so they're gonna look for their house, obviously. But then they see all these signs, away with you, turn around and live, all in blood, like on the walls, on the road. So they're like, what is up? So then basically they see all these barricades. There's these like little stations with stakes coming out of them, and it looks like they're set up to stop the walkers and everything. Then all of a sudden, when they're walking through this, there's a sniper on the roof, and the sniper has a bicycle helmet on with a sniper, and he basically says, drop everything, your clothes, your weapons, everything, and leave, and I won't kill you. So we don't know who this person is. Looks like they're the ones that put up these barricades, but we soon find out who it is. But then Michonne says, you know what, we need that rifle he has. So basically there's a shootout now. So Carl, Michonne run all in different directions. They take cover and they start shooting at this masked sniper. And basically the sniper comes down, and Carl's just basically just right in front of him and shoots the masked guy. Now, the masked guy's on the floor now since he got shot. And Rick goes up to him and he sees, oh, he's wearing body armor, so he's not dead, but she's just really badly hurt. But it's not like blood or anything, but it's still like really badly bruised. So we can see that this guy's is really hurt. And basically they take off his helmet and it's Morgan from season 1. It's the man that helped Rick right when he got out of the hospital and told him what was happening. He has a son. Yeah, so it's, again, Morgan is back at this point. And we assume that he doesn't know who Rick is because he was shooting at him. But again, these answers are answered, so we'll find out in a second. But just to bring up the comic. In the comic, Morgan does come back, I guess, because Rick actually goes to him similar to what's happening now. And basically, he joins the group after that. But in this situation, they kind of turned it around, and he doesn't join the group. So it was interesting that they chose that to let Morgan just stay by himself. And because I was expecting him to join the group. But I think they made a good decision because I really wasn't expecting for him to just stay by himself. So then, at this point, they bring Morgan back into his little house, right, where he's held up. And there's basically booby traps everywhere. There's axes hanging with wires, tripwires, just everything. So he's really set up really nice. And basically Rick says, we're going to help him because he saved my life at one point. I got to repay him because Michonne and Rick are just, Michonne and Carl just like, leave him. Who cares? So everything's booby trapped. And they bring Morgan up. And basically it looks as if Morgan has gone crazy. There's writing all over the walls, everywhere. And even Rick still sees he has this walkie-talkie that actually Rick gave him a walkie-talkie in the first season. And it was a sad moment because, Rick, he said that I'll call you at every dawn in the morning, which he didn't keep that promise. He stopped after like 2 or 3 times. That's presumed. So, it's kind of like, what, I kind of forgot about you. Like, that's kind of what it's saying. And even on the walls, it wrote that Dwayne turned. So we can see that he lost his son. So Morgan's son is actually dead, which is, kind of a, letdown. It was, I like the, it's pretty sad when anyone goes in the show, but we've seen so little of Dwayne that I kind of wanted to see more. But even in the comic, he was dead when they found him too. So I guess they followed the comic in a sense that way. But I like it when they don't follow the comics. It's a fresh thing. But then Morgan actually has a map that he drew, and Rick's house is actually burnt down. And Carl actually wanted to go see it. Now, why Carl wants to go see it, he actually wants to find a picture of Lori so that he can show Judith, so she can see what her mother looked like when she grows up. So that's Carl's thing. So Michonne and Carl go by themselves because they're going to try to find a crib for Judith because they obviously need a crib. But it's not a necessity, but it's still something that you would need to raise the baby. But again, it's not a necessity. So they're basically risking their lives for kind of nothing, but at the same sense, something, I guess. So then they're walking out. They leave Rick with Morgan, and they go out. And a walker comes up. So Michonne goes, takes care of it, and Carl kind of runs away. So Michonne catches up with him, and he's like, what are you doing? And basically, he says that he wants to get Judith something else, not a crib. So, whatever. Crazy Carl. He's kind of a weak actor, but I think he's still pretty good. But at some instances, you can see that he kind of scrambles out of character. So, kind of bothers me, but kind of doesn't. I still like it, the actor. Then we go back to Morgan and Rick. And Morgan wakes up from the bed, and he doesn't know that it's Rick. And he has a knife underneath his bed, so he picks it up. And he doesn't announce that he's awake. He just pretends to be asleep. And then so he jumps out of bed, and there's a big fight with Morgan and Rick at this point. And basically Morgan's going crazy, and he stabs Rick right in the shoulder. So it's basically the safest place to get stabbed. But he still does get stabbed. It was a really intense moment too. So it was really awesome. The pace just picked up all of a sudden. And Rick kind of springs up and puts the gun to Morgan's head, and he just says, "Please kill me. Please kill me." So we can see that Morgan doesn't even know who Rick is, and he's so far to the point of insanity that he's just "Just kill me." Now, we can see one of Morgan's booby traps at this point, kind of more in depth, and there's these rats in cages in the middle of all these stakes. So the walkers will go for the rats, and they like impale themselves. So it was really cool, a really smart way to get rid of walkers. Then Morgan remembers Rick, and he says, "You weren't there. You know, I still kept the walkie-talkie. I used it every dawn, and you didn't answer." So at this point, we feel really bad for Morgan. Like, Rick kind of did let him down. He kind of forgot about him. And at this point, we find out that Morgan couldn't take out his wife that was a walker, and he kind of hesitated, so he couldn't do it. And he really regrets not putting her down because Dwayne's mother, so Morgan's wife, actually bit Dwayne, and she was going after Dwayne, and he couldn't shoot her either because he just didn't have it in him to shoot his mother. So he kind of just he didn't really have any choice. He froze up, and she bit him. And at this point, Morgan couldn't control himself and just put both of them down. And that's kind of how he went insane, because he had to shoot his son and his wife. So that's basically why he's insane. And he even asks Rick, "Is your boy dead?" And Rick says, "No." And he says he will be. And he's really lost all hope at this point. He's basically saying, it doesn't matter what you have a secure place, well, someone's going to want it. At this point, you're either going to be ripped up by teeth or bullets. Like, there's no point, you're going to die. That's basically where he's at right now. So then we go back to Michonne and Carl. And they have a nice, cool idea that Morgan kind of thought up. They want to get into this little, bar, diner, and there's walkers all in it. So they get the rats in the cages, and they put them on skateboards and roll them in. So all the walkers are drawn to that, and they kind of leave them alone. So then Carl and Michonne will go into the little diner, kind of undetected, all stealthy, and there's a picture of Lori, Carl, and Rick, and it's up in the diner. So Carl has to go up on the bar, the actual table, and grab the picture, and a walker kind of just comes out of nowhere, and Michonne takes him out, but there's now all the walkers are on them, swarming, and Carl accidentally drops the picture, and they're out. They get out of the little diner, and they close the door. So at this point, Carl's like, I want that picture. I want Judith to see what her mother looked like. So Michonne says, "Okay, if we do this, we're going to do this my way." So she basically walks away for a second. Carl's just standing there. 2 seconds later, she walks back with the picture. I was like, "Whoa, okay, I didn't know you were full ninja there." She just went full ninja, so that's pretty funny. And she even says, "I couldn't leave this here." And there's this statue of a cat, neon colored cat. And it was the most awkward thing, but it was just a little bit of comic relief, but it was just really weird. Let me go back to Rick and Morgan, and basically Rick asks him to come with them into the group, and he says no. And like I said earlier, he says, "You're gonna be ripped apart by teeth or bullets." No. And all he basically says is, "I have to clear." And we don't really know what this means, but I'm basically assuming he wants to clear out all the walkers. So he's going to kill as many walkers as he can, just to kind of, I don't know, maybe prove himself like he's serving a purpose, and he's not just living, he's actually doing something. We don't know at this point. So after that, basically, Rick just kind of says, "You know what, okay," and he just leaves Morgan there by himself. And he takes some of his guns and stuff, because Morgan stockpiled tons and tons of guns and ammo. So Rick just kind of takes a bunch, and he leaves him. And he finds Michonne and Carl again. And basically he asks him, "Is he okay?" And Rick says he's okay, but he's not okay. So, we can see he's lost it. He really has. So, yeah. And another thing I have to bring up is Rick got stabbed in the shoulder, and he kind of disregards it right after he gets stabbed. It's not even a big deal. They kind of don't even address it after that. So that's kind of okay, whatever. There, it's really just forgot about. And we see some more supplies that Rick and Michonne and Carl got. So they actually did get a crib. They got more arrows and a new crossbow, and I'm assuming that's for Daryl. So we can see dual wielding Daryl at this point. But and Michonne actually reveals something about herself. And we find out that she's kind of crazy in the same sense too, because she tells Rick, "I know you see things like stuff like that," and she says, "I used to talk to my dead boyfriend." So we can see that Rick and Michonne are very similar, and this is brought up in the comic multiple times. and that's why like Michonne and Rick are really close in the comics, and not in like a relationship. Just they're really like Daryl and Rick are kind of like Michonne and Rick in the comics. So that's kind of like what it is, and she's really kind of opening herself up to the group, and especially Rick and Carl in this episode. And the last scene was basically that they're driving away in their car, and they see this blood and like messed up body, and it was the guy that was yelling for help in the beginning with the backpack. And they drive by, and his dead body's all splattered and dead, and his backpack's still there. And they just pick up the backpack and just drive away. So you can really see what it's come to, that they really just don't care about anyone else at this point. It's really just all for one and one for all, basically. They're just thinking about themselves. Like they're ignorant enough to just grab his backpack and not even help him, and now he's dead. So it really shows how far they've come from the beginning to the end. But that'll be it for this review, guys. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I guess there's going to be a confrontation between Rick and the governor next episode, so really cannot wait. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and just thank you very much for watching. It means a lot to me. And you can follow me on Twitter at unblesseddata, and I just want to say thank you one more time. So see ya, guys. You can check out my channel for more news and reviews, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.